episode of 302 Birds. I am blessed to be here tonight. Season 4, episode 20, well on our road to, season 5. I was thinking about that today, Ash, when I was making it. Season 5. Can you believe that this August will be 2 years that we've been in this crazy podcasting world?
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And it seems like season 4 just started.
No. And of course, as you guys know, we've been blessed to pick up Ash along the way. We just found her on the side of the street at a Dallas game in green, and we were like, we can't let this girl, suffer. But great things have came along with Ash too. Just like her boyfriend, Connor. Welcome him back to the show. What's going on, brother?
Yes, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good. I'm glad to have you here. And thanks for bailing us out, as we said. You're like the 302 Birds redeemer.
That's who I am. That's it.
What do you got for us tonight as a Chicagonian, our favorite Philadelphian Chicagonian?
That's it. All right, so my question for today is, what do you think is helping the Phillies the most right now? Their pitchers or their hitters?
Ash, ladies
That's
first.
A great question. And he did not prep me by what he was going to say at all. Just want to put that out there. I think right now it's our pitching, because for most of the beginning of the season when we really sucked, it was our hitting. Our hitting was fine. It was just our pitchers that were completely blowing it. So I think now that our pitchers are more solid, they are allowing the hitters to do what they need to do. And also it's just everybody's working more cohesively as a team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the pitching has been leveled up. Like, I think that it's a night and day difference from what we've seen. The hitting, I think both have certainly been improved, no doubt. That's why we've seen the success that the Phillies have had. But the pitching, and specifically Ranger Suarez and Tajon Walker, which we'll get into later. Hold your horses. I wish Ballpark Tommy was here because, Dutch, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. Seriously, both of these pitchers have really stepped it up for the Phillies. And it's been a long time since the Phillies have had kind of reliable pitchers. I would say since the four aces back, Oswalt, Lee, Holiday, and freaking always draw a blank on the last one. It's the easiest one to get.
Yep, I don't have it right now either. It'll come to us in a minute.
It'll hit me at the worst time, just like it usually does. That's the art of dyslexia. But that was a great question, Connor. I mean, from an outside opinion, what do you think for the Phillies has been their key to success?
I want to say their pitching, because when I went to Philly and I got to see that Cubs-Phillies game, their pitching was abysmal at that point. So, I mean, I know their offense is picked up, but I think it's the momentum of their pitching is starting to get the offense to get better and better and better. Because, I mean, they're beating the Cubs right now 5-1. Beat the Cubs yesterday. They took 2 out of 3 against the Mets. So I think they're starting to be who the Phillies are supposed to be. Aaron Nola,
they're starting to find themselves.
They are. And then Nola and Wheeler, they're starting to find themselves a little bit more. But Suarez and then Walker, I mean, those have been the guys that the Phillies can kind of rely on a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been exciting as a fan, and I really hope it keeps up. Connor, I want to thank you, as always, for jumping on with us, man, and talking some Phillies with us. Thank you. We appreciate you. Like I said, the Redeemer. Appreciate it. All right, and because I'm an idiot and we got so many things going on, I want to make sure to shout out one of our sponsors. I literally had it for lunch today.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302 Birds sent you. God bless. Go Birds.
Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Junior Stitch.
Only if he was here, you would have the pleasure of meeting him, Matt. But I want to welcome a new guest to the show, somebody you guys have not met, but a longtime friend of mine, Matt Redkin. What's up, man?
How's it going, Dalton?
It's good, man. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, how are you feeling about this whole Phillies? I mean, let's talk about the Mets series. There were a lot of positives and a lot of negatives, to say the least. Before
we get into that, I just want to say the pitcher that you were missing was Cole Hamels.
That's it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But take it away, man.
Yeah. So the Mets series. I mean, the Phillies are doing well. Their pitching's there, but the thing that I'm really concerned about is their ability to score with runners in scoring position. Especially with that last game. The only reason we won is because the Mets metzed. The bullpen kind of helped us out there with 4 straight walks and 2 hit batters to close out that 8th inning. But other than that, we're not winning that game. So we are leaving that series winning only 1 of 3 games. So they really got to figure out what they're going to do with runners in scoring position. Trey Turner has to start, coming through. He's been doing well the past couple of weeks, but other than that, I mean, Nick Castellanos is carrying this offense, and so is Bryson Stott. But other than that, there's really no one else that's really stepping up. I don't know if we're going to touch on the Cubs series that's going on right now, but there's been a couple of batters that have kind of started to wake up here.
It's been nice, like you said, like wake up, I think is kind of the perfect term because it's there. The potential's there all season. You're just waiting for it to come alive. I think the hardest part for me, Matt, about watching this series was you kind of got handed that win with the Mets. And, you cannot rely and bank going into the playoffs on other teams' mistakes. You need to be the team that can capitalize on other teams' mistakes. So I guess that you could say the Phillies did do that, but they need to get their shit together as a whole. Can't just keep getting lucky. Friday's 5-1 win was great, but other than that, it wasn't really a pretty series, the rest of it. The 5-1 win, the other win was lucky, and the other win was a loss. Yeah. And, the 5-1 win was pretty much carried by Schwarber and Turner. Yeah. We'll see. But, I mean, wins like that in a series are great. That's what's going to get you to the postseason. But wins like that are also where you have to learn, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, too.
There's also one thing I'm also kind of concerned with, and I don't think people are talking about enough, is Bryce Harper's lack of power. I don't know if that's something that we need to be concerned about. He's still hitting the ball. He's still hitting just below 300, but he's not getting those, big-time home runs, scoring or hitting with runners in scoring position like we're used to. And I think that's definitely kind of slowing down this offense with him in the 4th spot. I think later on in the series he'll start finding his niche, but right now he's kind of struggling with that long ball.
Yeah, that's definitely something that people are talking about. But the Mets series was slightly frustrating as a fan because, as you said, we really should only have won 1 of those 3 games. It was only because the Mets blew it. So I think they definitely are starting to get some momentum and find themselves. However, we're definitely not out of the woods yet by any means.
No, not even close by any means. And still a lot of work to do for our Philadelphia Phillies to get to where they want to be. I'll tell you what, the one nice thing about all of this has been that guy right there on your screen. Like Tom said, and KJ too. I got to give KJ credit because we did see him this weekend. There's something about that man, Nick Castellanos, and tragedy and just balling out. I hate to say it, but there's some kind of correlation, and I'm not even trying to be like that, but it's really weird. I mean, we all have to kind of admit it's kind of odd how something bad happens and this man just seems to go off on the field.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it kind of weird to you guys that he's not going up for an All-Star bid?
It is a little bit odd to me because 2 years ago, not last year, but 2 years ago, he had that fantastic season with the Reds. Was he an All-Star that season?
I think he was.
I think it's interesting that he doesn't at least get a bid. That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, because he's literally carrying the offense. The fact that Bryce Harper is going for an All-Star game and he's not it's kind of weird to me.
No, I think that's a great point. I'm actually glad you brought that up. I wish Tom was here to defend Bryce Harper because I know he would have something to say. That's
I'm not trying to take shots at Bryce, but but
it's a good point though. You're trying to give credit to Castellanos. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, after the season he had last year, the way that he's bounced back this year, it's just been awesome.
No, he's been great. little bit of a side question, Matt. This one's kind of a fun one. Lil Dicky obviously doing a first pitch for the Phillies this past week, and it had me kind of thinking, in recent memory, or just in memory in general, what has been your favorite celebrity that's done a first pitch for the Phillies, and why? Do you guys have any that just off the top of the dome you think about?
In all honesty, I don't really know too many celebrities that have done first pitches, but did Jason Kelce do one in the playoffs last year?
He's have had to done one. I don't know if in the playoffs,
Yes,
but he's definitely.
He's done one, and then I know
He would probably be
Sirianni
mine.
did too.
That's a good answer. Especially if it was in the playoffs last year for the Phillies, just thinking about like how crazy that was that we didn't know what was about to unfold that season too.
Yeah.
Ash, you got yours?
My favorite or most memorable was probably Brian Dawkins, just because he's my favorite Eagle of all time. But yeah, and how much he still loves the city, even though he's been gone for, well, not obviously.
What do you think that would have been like playing catcher if Brian Dawkins is putting some heat on that ball? Seriously, like what do you think he could throw? What do you think, Matt? You think he could like push like 89, 91?
I don't think so. I don't know. I played a lot of like just because you're strong doesn't mean you have good throwing form. Who knows? Maybe
like back in his day. I mean, like in his prime, take college Dawk coming out of Clemson. You think like at least 84?
I bet you. Yeah, I think he could do that. 90 would be pushing it a little bit, but 84 I could see.
That'd be interesting.
We should.
If I had to give mine, Julie Ertz. Why not? I mean, I think Zach was there with her too when she did it, and I just think the two of them are a great Philadelphia couple. And the fact that they still do so much for this city, even though they don't live here, they're in Arizona, halfway across the country, and they come back to make that contribution. I love it, and I love everything that they stand for. So that's why I put her on this graphic. Just wanted to give credit to them. I mean, any chance you get to credit the Ertzes, aren't you gonna? I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
And then Matt, we got one more topic for you before we get you out of here. This one is really fun. This one I haven't even talked about with anybody yet, but you guys know what tier ranker is or tier maker? Have you guys ever heard of that?
No, but I feel like I can put pieces together.
Long story short, we are basically going to tier rank every mascot in this photo. I don't think it should take longer than 5 minutes. Kind of give a case for why, as you guys can see, Philadelphia has a lot of mascots and the surrounding areas. There's a couple others I threw into there just for relevancy to our podcast. Mostly relevant to Philadelphia, just so you guys are aware, but very much relevant to 302 Birds. So without further ado, I am going to cue this bad boy up, and we're going to start ranking some of these mascots and having to make a case for them. Some of them I actually think you guys are going to be like, Dalton, who the hell is that? But I'll get there. Don't worry. Starting off, we got let's start with the Phillie Phanatic. I think obviously the Phillie Phanatic is one of the greatest mascots in all of sport, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I think S tier, no doubt, one of the best mascots.
Let's go on S tier, no doubt.
Yeah.
S tier it is. All right. Moving on now to another one. All right, let's shake it up a little bit. Villanova Wildcat. Where would you guys put the Villanova Wildcat? In my personal list, I actually had the Villanova Wildcat, I believe, at a C, which maybe might be a little bit harsh.
I personally was thinking B. I think B would be okay, but I also could agree with C.
I think I agree more with C than B, personally.
See, it is. I'm trying to pull up my list right now to see exactly what I had, but it's not popping up. But yeah, we will put the Villanova Wildcat at C for now. New one on the scene. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom in on this. Oh, there we go. Now I got a better view for you guys. Did anybody, probably not, Blob from the Philadelphia Stars? I had him at one of the worst as a G tier. I mean, that's probably got to be one of the most lazy, weak-ass efforts at a mascot. One of the most lazy, weak-ass efforts in a mascot I've ever seen. It literally looks like they took googly eyes from the dollar store and put it on this guy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he's a D.
He's absolutely.
Okay. What do you guys think about the Temple Owl? That one, I feel like I was a little bit biased on.
You went to Temple, didn't you?
No, I did not. See, I went to St. Joe's. So my bias is actually I feel like I gave too much hate to the Temple Owl. I think I had him at a C tier, which is very low. I actually had the Villanova Wildcat at a B tier, so I was generous to Nova, but hateful to Temple.
I think either or to me. I mean, to be honest, I don't really follow too much of the college sports around here, so the college mascots I'm not going to have too much of an input on, so they'll probably all be CDs for me or Bs.
I mean, at least that was a little bit original, so I think you could go B.
Wow, you want to put him all the way at a B? All right, I guess.
I don't know.
I guess we'll
or put
switch
him
him
at
up.
C. I don't know. I'm not a huge college. I'm just thinking of like what mascots you see often. And
he is at a B. Don't worry, he's at a B. We're giving him some love. Screw Nova. I'm all for it. Do you guys know this one? All the way on the left. I'm talking about who's that guy in the eagle costume that looks like Swoop? That's Street Swoop, baby. I'm talking about Birdman 215, our guy. I think Birdman 215, Street Swoop, is S tier. This man is out here. He's in the streets. He's the swoop of the people. The swoop Philadelphia needs. The swoop that drinks with you. The swoop that smokes with you. The swoop that gets his picture taken. And the swoop that does good things for charity. The swoop we love. Give me Street Swoop, a.k.a. Birdman 215 at S tier. I'm here for it. If you haven't met him, you got to look at his Instagram yet. I think Ash has probably seen that wild man, that good man in a bunch of our vlogs.
Yes. / he was on the show at one point too. So
yes, he was. I forgot about that as one of our guests right before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll vote S for that because you just got me hyped for Street Swoop.
You gotta come to a tailgate and meet him. And trust me, he doesn't take any offense to that either. Like when you call him, he's like all for it. He's seriously one of the nicest guys ever. What about the Sixers? So they're kind of switching it up with a newer mascot. I guess that his name is Sir Franklin. Where would you guys put Sir Franklin on this list? Not Sir Franklin. B. I think B's fair. What do you think, Ash? I think B's fair.
I think it's fair. He's the least exciting out of the top four, but he's not bad.
Yeah,
I am with that.
I found out about Franklin through NBA 2K. I didn't even think the Sixers had a mascot for the longest time.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that gets us to our next one. In his time in Philadelphia, this man was elite as a mascot. If you don't remember hip hop was basically a bunny that the Sixers had in their mascot. I want to say probably like 2006, 2000.
Yeah, I remember him.
11.
Yeah.
He was S tier. What do you think?
Yeah, I remember him.
Hey, look at him in that photo, dude. He's hanging from the rim at a 90-degree angle. That's pretty hard to do. Freaking athlete. What about Gritty? Where would you guys put Gritty?
S.
Yeah, he's got to be at the top.
You guys think so? You guys don't think he's too new on the scene, though?
Well,
No, him coming in from a chandelier as his introduction with no jersey, it was the best.
he's like, I hated the idea of him, but like he very quickly has become, I don't know, he's fun.
He quickly stole your heart, America's sweetheart, Gritty.
Yeah, in some ways.
Oh,
for sure.
Well, that's good to hear. What about well, we're doing these S tiers. I mean, I'm gonna make a case for one, the St. Joe's Hawk. If you guys didn't know where my college went, I'm not biased in this. I think because the St. Joe's Hawk has to flap his wings for 3 hours straight every basketball game. We don't have a football team, so I would not say football, but every basketball game, because that's the only entertaining sport we have. He's out here doing this the whole game. And look, let me say this. In college, you're drinking a lot of beer. And to be able to do this for 3, there you go, Matt knows, my guy. When you're in college, you got to get out the stretch. You got to be able to level up. You got to be able to be keen. Beer helps you with that. And to be able to, but beer also gets you out of shape. We know that. And beer's like tough. And to be able to do this for 3 hours straight, that is athletic in my opinion. And in your college days on top of studying and all that, give me some props for that. What about Fang, I believe his name is, from the Union?
C.
I actually think I had him as a B tier. What do you think, Ash?
I would be open to either B or C.
I think C is fine. I think C is good. I think I'd still put him above the Villanova Wildcat, but it kind of feels like it was pieced together pretty quickly. I mean, I guess the union makes sense. Philadelphia, like a snake, like a union. It's just he kind of looks like a baby shark to me. So I don't know. I'm not with it either. I'm with you, Matt. Swoop. What about the original Swoop? The Eagles Swoop. I had him at A tier.
Yeah.
I think A is fair.
I still think that there are some things, and look, I know it's tough for me to say and to be a critic about this, but I still think that there's some things that the Eagles could do better with Swoop. Jado, what's up?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Nothing much. If you want to come back, you can. Don't worry if I caught you off guard. Cool, no worries. Yeah, Swoop. I like Swoop. He's like, he wasn't ready for that. But yeah, I just think that there's something missing about Swoop. I don't know what it is. Like the Phanatic, Gritty. They're both like definitely S tier. Then you got A tier Swoop, and then B tier. The Sixers mascot, I mean, frankly, kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think with Swoop, the hard thing is football, it's hard for a mascot to engage with the fan just because of how hectic the crowd is compared to either hockey or baseball where, there's hockey's a little bit more up paced, but baseball, you have so much downtime that, the mascot can go in and do things with the fans, and even Gritty can do things with the fans when they're in intermission and stuff. It's hard for football for the mascot to really have any fan engagement because, there's just so much going on.
That's a really good point, actually. Like, the Phanatic and Gritty are both walking around. Street Swoop. Birdman. He's always walking around. The St. Joe's Hawk. I know a ton of people that have gotten their photos with him. So interaction, I think, is a big thing. Anybody can put together a funny costume, but who's actually the personality behind the costume? Who's actually out there in the streets with the people? Like the Barbera Bear. The Barbera Bear is at every tailgate. So I probably put the Barbera Bear at A tier confidently. And I mean, is Barbera the best? Boy, I guess. What do you guys got about the Delaware Bluecoats mascot? I forget his name.
I'm back.
What's up, Jack? Do you remember Matt?
Yeah, I met Matt. Haven't seen Matt in for quite some time. How you doing, Matty?
Good. How are you, Jack?
Fantastic.
I was telling Dalton, I was like, I can't remember. We must have met like once or twice.
We met a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably once or twice at
Ryan's house, most likely.
Sorry for the lateness. I had to take Zep to the airport, boys and girls. But I'm here.
You're all good.
I'm here.
Who do you got? Do you know the Delaware Bluecoats mascot's name? I'm trying to put a pinpoint on it. Is it like Bucky or something?
I think it's Colt.
What would you guys rank him? I'd probably say like a low B tier, high C tier.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. I would probably put him in C, to be honest with you.
UD. That's literally his name, right, Jack? University of Delaware mascot. Where do you got him?
Did you just call him UD?
I'm pretty sure Yo UD. Is that his name?
The fucking blue hen, asshole.
They have a name.
UD, like UD blue hen.
Is that what it's called? The UD
Yes.
Blue Hen?
Yes.
Where
Man,
did you rank
I gotta
the UD Blue Hen?
So is S bad? D's good?
No, it's top to bottom. S is elite.
I'm going with elite. Elite. Good old
You
Joe.
really think?
Joe Flacco was a legend at the Blue Hens, and he was a legend in the NFL for quite some time. Now he's kind of fell off, but Blue Hen always has my heart. That's why it's 302BIRDS. So 302 is University of Delaware, so he has to be top tier for sure.
We're gonna get butchered for this, but fuck it.
Hey, fuck it. I don't care.
I couldn't even name any of these mascots on the bottom. I know you have the Reading Royals, the hockey team, the Philadelphia Wings, Wingston. There you go. I named one of them. I don't even know what the fuck this is for the Lehigh Valley fandom. So, I mean, if you guys want, we can rank them. I would probably say all three of these are a mix between, like, I think I had him here. I think I had him here, and then I think I had him here. If anybody has anything to disagree on, let me know.
The Blue Coats mascot's name is Cody, like Coaty.
Who?
Cody. That's the Blue Coats mascot.
That has got to be the worst name ever. I get it, like Coates, but
that
God,
name just should be bottom tier. Like,
so we'll post this on our Instagram too. So if you guys are listening on Spotify, follow us on Instagram at 302birds. Check us out. We'll have this graphic up in the next few days. Jack's gonna get us butchered on here with this graphic as a collective whole. Good God, I'm just looking at it right now. There's some good ones.
There's some
questionable ones. I agree. But that's all we got as far as the Phillies go for this segment of the show. Matt, I want to thank you, as always, for joining us for the first time on the show. Tell everybody as well where they can find your podcast. Feel free to plug it up.
Yeah, so we're the Broad Street Boys. We're on Spotify. We haven't really spread much to any other listening. So if you're on Spotify, give us a listen. We focus mostly on the NFL and Eagles. So, yeah, go ahead, give us a listen. We broadcast mostly during the Eagles season. So we'll be starting up in early September.
Hell yeah. Thank you for joining us, man. And we'll get you back on the show soon, too.
Yeah, sounds great. Nice seeing you guys.
Nice seeing you, too, dude. Take care. Perfect. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Eagles. Looking at making, well, I guess before we get into the Eagles, I want to talk about the Kelly Green uniforms. I'm on edge like everybody, but I guess I'll wait my turn. And we got to give some love to the Flyers on the podcast. We don't do it enough, so you guys know what time
He
it
shoots,
is.
he scores! Time for Slap Shots with Zep. Flyers talk from 302 Birds.
And make sure you guys download the TickPick app. We will have a link in our bio. We don't have that referral code anymore. TickPick had to get rid of referral codes for now. But we will have a link that you guys can click that can get us credit as well and help us get credit as well. But Flyers, as far as they go, trading Hayes for a 2024 sixth-round pick via St. Louis, I guess, the St. Louis Blues, who that trade was with. Ash, how are we feeling about it?
I'm not surprised. It was pretty clear that Hayes was not going to be fitting into the rebuild. Obviously, he's done a lot for the Flyers, or quite a bit, in my opinion, and a lot for the city. So it's definitely hard to see him go. However, I was not surprised. The one thing that I was surprised about was like kind of the technicalities of the trade. We also have to pay 50% of his contract still. So that's not great. I mean, obviously we save some cap space, but not a whole lot. And then also just the fact that it's a 2024 sixth rounder, it's going to be a long time until we see if this trade was actually worth it. And who knows what he is going to go do in St. Louis. That's my thought.
I think I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but Hayes had a little bit of an attitude problem with Tortorella, and they kind of weren't hitting it off, is maybe the nicest way I could put it. So it doesn't shock me that now with the new leadership that the Flyers are implementing, they're kind of like, let's clear slate everything. Let's get what we can. Let's get all the toxicity out, or what they view as toxicity, allegedly, and let's bring in what we feel is going to benefit the team. So I guess that this is what the Flyers think is best for them. I don't know if it is. Time will tell. But at the end of the day, the attitude problem thing, I mean, I'm kind of all for it if that's true. What were you saying, Jack?
I mean, I don't really know much about the Flyers. But, I mean, he was a good talent. Granted, he was old. And I think what the Flyers should do is what the Sixers did a couple years ago, just kind of tank their season, because, I mean, we're going to be in a deep cavern for the next 3 seasons because the Flyers suck. I mean, we're trying to set our team up for success with these picks because I just feel like the team as a whole is really shitty. And I haven't really seen a good Flyers team in, God, I want to say 10 years, if that, or a bubble season. I mean, this team is in the dumps, and this is going to be a rough next 3 years for the Flyers. But hopefully we can turn it around and kind of emulate what the Sixers did, even though, granted, they can't get past the second round, but we got a lot better, after we tanked. So hopefully that's what the Flyers are planning on doing, because that's what needs to happen, because the team is not there. And it kind of sucks to pay 50% of his salary, but other than that, I mean, sad to see him go, but I mean, hopefully it sets us up for success in the future.
It must be a real toxicity too. I'm glad you brought that up, Jack, about the 50% of salary. Like, if they're willing to do that, you must be a pretty toxic player, at least is what I'm thinking. I hate to say that. I hate that might be the case, but unfortunately, that one might be true. Moving it along now, I guess it is the perfect time for my favorite time of the night.
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dalton, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you, Fantasy Football Network. We haven't had this in quite some time. I think this is the first time in 3 episodes.
Got to be at least 4 weeks.
Yeah, 4 episodes. But what I got on the ballot tonight is the Philadelphia Eagles franchise began their NFL membership with what team name? Again, the Philadelphia Eagles franchise began their NFL membership with what team name? And this was in 1933. A, Philadelphia Eagles. B, Philadelphia Steagles. C, Philadelphia Birds. D, Philadelphia Nationals. Dalton? Actually, no. Dalton, just
I'm very confident in the.
I will text you. Can you repeat it one more time for us?
Yeah.
Because I thought I knew it, and I am actually shocked that you didn't say which one it is. So say it again.
So the question we have is, the Philadelphia Eagles franchise began their NFL membership with what team name? And
Did it give you a year? Did it give you 1933? Did it say?
1933 is when they became a franchise.
Okay.
So maybe that's important. Maybe it's not. But we shall see if Dalton gets the edge tonight, or if Ash does, or if Ash ends her, long span. Whatchamacallit? I can't think of the word.
Now you're making me question it, but
Your answer at the end. So we'll see.
I thought for sure that was it.
We'll see what
I think I got it. I think it's a trick question, in my opinion. We shall see. But I thought it was. I'm shocked that you didn't say. I guess I can say it because it's not on there. But I'm shocked that the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets weren't on there. But I feel like that might be my answer to the question then. But we will get to that in the end, because I guess, speaking about the Philadelphia Eagles franchise starting then, a very exciting time for the Eagles, guys, next season, trying to predict which game should the Philadelphia Eagles bring back their throwback jerseys. And before we get into it on the show, I actually had the pleasure of cutting it up with one of Philadelphia media's greatest personalities, somebody who's came on our show before, one of my personal favorites, Mark Farzetta from The Farzy Show. Let's see what he had to say.
Because you have two of the most passionate fans, I think, in Philly sports media right now. Of course, I'm a little bit biased, but of course we're biased about these sexy-ass uniforms that are coming back, the moment we've all been waiting for, man. What game do you want to see these uniforms debut? Where would you like to see them rock them?
I know you and I have talked about this before. I wish that Kansas City Chiefs game was home, because that would be the game that I would absolutely say that the Eagles have to wear the Kelly Green jerseys on. You could go through a lot. You got Washington there in week 4, where the Eagles are at home. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff, though. You want a little bit more stank. You want a little bit more juice on the game, though. So a 1 o'clock kickoff doesn't really do it for me. You got the Bills later in the season, but you really want to wait that long. You got San Francisco later in the season. You really want to wait that long. Of course, you got Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys leading into the bye week. That's a 4:25 game, nationally televised game. I think it's got to be there. I think it's got to be right before the bye week. I don't think you can wait for the bye week. I think you got to tease it just enough. And I know people could be saying that you've waited forever. You've waited pretty much for the entire ownership of the Lorries and this team to see this Kelly Green again. You've only seen it that one time in 2010. But I'm telling you, Dalt, when I talk to people in the organization, former players, people that work for the team now, They did not think this would ever come back with any regularity. And when you heard from Jeffrey Lurie time and time again, whenever he was asked about it, oh yeah, we're really working hard to get that back. And he would say something about, oh, well, the helmet doesn't really match the jersey, so it's a league rule. It is a league rule, but the Eagles already had a helmet, if you noticed, that didn't necessarily match the same green that they had on their jersey. So what was he even talking about?
I do like the Dallas Cowboys. You're right. It's got to be a game with some stank on it, man. There's got to be some of that rivalry. And especially if the NFL wants to sell these jerseys, they're probably going to want some of that NFC East bad blood, which means, hypothetically, it's between the Giants and the Cowboys. Like, the Commanders, no. I don't even need to explain why. The point is, I like the Giants on Christmas Day in Philly, man. Let them wear their white throwback uniforms. Let us wear our Kelly green, televise the heck out of it, and make your money, Roger Goodell. Eagles, Giants, football, Philadelphia, Christmas Day, snowing, throwback uniforms. Get better than that, man.
Nothing could be better than that.
I mean, nothing could be better than that, like Farzetta said. What do you think, Jack?
I mean, it would be cool if they bring them back during the Giants game on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and we do a little green and red for Christmas colors for their jerseys. That'd be cool. Like the Giants throwback jerseys. I mean, winning against the Giants Christmas Day brings back memories of when the D-Jack fumbled the punt and returned it to win the game. But that being said, I think it's a given answer. It's got to be the goddamn Cowboys. You know what I mean? I mean, I think we hate the Cowboys a lot more than the Giants. The fan base, everything about that. And I think taking it to them in the Kelly green jerseys against the Cowboys, oh my God, nothing would be better than that. My life would be complete. I would love it. I would love it. Yeah,
Got everybody in the house tonight. What's up, guys?
But yeah, I think it's got to be the Cowboys for sure.
Yeah, I think it's between two games. You either have the Christmas Day game or you have the Cowboys game. I think either would be really cool, but if I had to bet money on it, it would definitely be on the Cowboys game, 100%.
I think that there's no shot that they do it as an away game, but hear me out. I think it would be cool if they had two games with it, one with the home jerseys, one as a classic game. Like pick another team when the Eagles are away, because those Eagles white uniforms, because Aaron Ortega brings it up, I'm thinking, what if they won't do it this year, but next year, hear me out, NFL, like a team like the Rams and the Eagles, get some stank on it, like Farzetta said, and take the Rams and take the Eagles or somebody, have both of them playing their throwback uniforms. The Eagles' white throwback uniforms are sexy. The Kelly green, like numbers with the white, they're clean when they do them right. Obviously, the Kelly green is what we're most excited to see. So it's got to be, a home game. I honestly think the Giants is the most viable option. If not, the Dolphins, man. Why not? Tua, Jalen, little bit of storyline there. I know that they're both, everybody's nice nowadays. There's no bad blood, but that guy took that man's job. And the Dolphins are not, at the tier that the Eagles are at, but they're a good team. So I think that would be a good Sunday night football game in Philly. Why are you making the face, Jack?
I mean, yeah, it'd be cool, but Dalton, you're just blowing smoke up your butt right now. You know it's going to be the Cowboys, and it should be the Cowboys, not an AFC game. It should be our league, our whole NFL rival. The whole league rival, the Cowboys and Cowboys and Eagles. It has to be that game. Come on now. Come on, Dalton. Come on, Dalton.
I'm excited for that if you're right, because November 5th, which would be that game, would technically be the day before my birthday. So stay tuned. I'm all for it.
Well, didn't they bring back didn't they wear the All Blacks against the Cowboys last year? Or is that who
they did?
They did.
So
you're saying there's the answer to your question. That was for the
Christmas Eve game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
But moving on now, and thank you guys for jumping on that. We actually have another special guest on the show tonight. We've been having all the guests tonight for you guys, so appreciate everybody who helps us out at 302 Birds and what we do, especially Ash for helping with the graphics behind the scenes, Jack for jumping on as a host despite being a chauffeur too. You know, man does many jobs apparently for our brother Zeppelin. But Jack, I want to welcome our friend Cowboys Beat back to the show. And you can go ahead and take it first. After he jumps in, too, you can introduce him. But breaking the cycle, man. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Cowboy B, I'll let you take this. I'll let you take this. I'll let you take this.
What's going on? What are we predicting the NFC?
Are the Eagles going to repeat? Could it happen? The last team to do it was the 01 to 04 Eagles. What are the odds? They're in the Eagles' favor. Do you think it's going to happen?
I mean, it definitely could happen. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's – I mean, I think the Eagles and the Cowboys, I think, are very, very close to each other. I mean, like when you look at the top teams in the NFC, to me, I think it's Philly and it's Dallas, you know. So, I mean, yeah, there's definitely a very real possibility that the Eagles could win the division.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like we said before, the Eagles, I think, have definitely got a lot better on both ends of the field. I think that they will – it's going to be, you know, neck and neck with the Cowboys for sure. I mean, Cowboys always have a decent team. I mean, actually not a decent team. They have a great team. Like Chris said, it's like the Eagles and Cowboys are always the top tier teams in the NFC East. I mean, which is pretty self-explanatory. But I definitely think that they will win the NFC East yet again this year. I mean, the team just has all these weapons now with DeAndre Swift, with our receiving core, with our line still coming back. Losing, the only question is the line going to be as good as last year because we lost, what's his face? Saymalu. We don't know who we're going to put in his spot. But I definitely think our defense got a hell of a lot better. We actually have a defensive coordinator who knows what the hell he's talking about and has a scheme, not like Jonathan Gannon, who everyone's trying to leave Arizona because he's just a terrible coach. So I really think it's going to be, you know, neck and neck with the Cowboys, but I think the Eagles will definitely get the edge for sure.
So
Can
here's
I play devil's advocate-ish?
Yes. Go ahead.
I think it's way too early for us to be thinking about this. There have been many seasons, and again, on paper, we've gotten a lot better, but there have been many seasons where on paper we look fantastic, and then we can't put it together on the field. So I am not going to say anything until we are comfortably in the season and comfortably winning not only the games that we should win, but those games that are borderline and the games that I don't want us to be in as many must-win situations, because think about how stinking hard it was for us to get the number 1 seed when we should have secured it weeks before we did. So
you don't want us to jinx ourselves.
Right.
Correct.
And
what are you thinking, Chris?
Here's what I'll say. So I think that Dallas got a lot better as well. And the reason why I say that is this. They weren't lacking superstars. You know, they have plenty of superstars on that team. But the thing is, you know, the Eagles have superstars as well, but the thing that separated them from Dallas last year, I think health had a lot to do with it. But another thing that separated the two teams was the Eagles had the main ingredients, but they had the side dishes as well. And I think the Cowboys were missing the side dishes. So they went out there and they got a Brandon Cooks, and then they got a Stephon Gilmore, and they drafted Mozzie Smith in the first round. Those were the side dishes that they were missing out on. And I think because of that, you know, people were talking about DeAndre Hopkins earlier in the offseason, potentially going to Dallas. You know, obviously he would have been better than what Brandon Cooks is going to be for Dallas, but Brandon Cooks is no slouch as well. I mean, you're getting a guy who's a very productive player who I think really fits into that offense. So that's where I would say, you know, I think that's why I think that the Eagles and the Cowboys, I mean, I don't think that there's really either a wrong way to answer for who's going to win the NFC East, because, you know, I could sit here and say, I really love my defense. I think that my defense matches up very well with your offense, but your offense is also really good as well. You know, I think the best from top to bottom offense in the league. So there's really no answer, I feel like.
Go on, you're muted, boss.
Damn, you're good, man. You're getting good at this. Backstage checking it out. I'm proud of you. You're right though. Like, it's not going to be something that we see until, and Ash made it the point earlier, until those key situations last minute in games where we really see how Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott both perform. The one thing I do want to point out that you brought up, Chris, is any, Philadelphia Eagles fans or Giants fans that want to discredit the Cowboys or say the Cowboys are not, plus 190 betting odds. If Jack Jordan was a betting man, which he is, on Cut, make sure to bet via Cut app for us, guys. The best place to bet, a peer-to-peer social betting platform. The point is plus 190. I mean, these are the odds currently via DraftKings. Eagles are the favorite, minus 125. Cowboys, very good value, plus 190. That's really good. Giants, plus 850. Very good value as well. And then the Commanders, which I don't think that they have a snowball's chance in hell, plus 1,200. Anything can happen, of course, especially in the NFC East with, no repeat winners. But the Eagles should win this division. They are the favorite. And if they don't, it'll be a disappointment. They should be the ones to break the curse. We'll see, though.
So this is what I'll say. I think that, to be honest with you, winning the division, the only thing you really get out of it is obviously you get the home playoff game. But I'm at the point where it's just like, I've seen the Cowboys win the division plenty of times. Like it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I think that I think that team can go on the road and beat damn near anybody. And I think the same thing of the Eagles as well. So to me, all to me it really means is that the road will be a little more difficult for the team in second place. But I think both those teams can go on the road and beat anybody.
Like you said, I guess you're really emphasizing them. We won't see until, I guess, really, the playoffs, which I'm with that, man, because that's when it really matters. Anybody can get swept off their feet. You're 100% right. That's all we really got for that topic. Moving on now. Chris, I know we text about this guy a lot. He gets on our nerves. You sent me a picture of him the other day, and a great one. Chris Sims. This guy misspoke yet again. This is probably the best one yet, in my opinion. This man went ahead and in 2021, in 2020, Jalen Hurts did not even crack his top 40 list that he has. 2022, Jalen Hurts comes in number 25 out of 40. Okay, a little bit more respect on his name. But, you still look at some of the other QBs that are ranked in front of him, and you're like, okay, what is this guy smoking? This is the one that really gets me. 2023, Jalen Hurts ranked number 7 out of 40. What? What did you say now? Hear me out. I think Jalen Hurts is a good QB. It's not like this guy's old school, though. And it's like, Aaron Rodgers and, all these old school QBs who have been doing it for a while ranked in front of Jalen Hurts. Nope. Number 6 is the one that gets me. Trevor Lawrence is ranked higher. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. What? Lamar Jackson has an MVP. Don't get me wrong. What has Lamar done in the playoffs? When has Lamar led his team to anything meaningful? Same thing with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has a great lead in the playoffs, but he has 1 win in the playoffs. That's it. He hasn't really done anything else. And he had a horrible first half in that game.
But I mean, even still overall, he has 5 turnovers in 2 games in the playoffs.
It gets better. He called Jalen Hurts, quote unquote, the ultimate gamer. He did say he was the best leader in football. And he still thinks that there's quote-unquote room for growth and another level that Jalen Hurts could tap into. But the fact that he's still not top 5, get over yourself. Get over yourself, bro. The game is changing, and it doesn't really make sense to me because I thought that he didn't really like rushing QBs. But the fact that he has Lamar Jackson ranked at 5 and Jalen Hurts at 7 is criminal. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Dak Prescott, another one, ranked number 13 out of 40. And the fact that you have Daniel Jones at, I believe it was, I think it's
11. He had him at 11.
11. Yeah. Kirk Cousins, 12. Matt Stafford, who didn't do anything. Look, Matt Stafford's a good QB, but Matt Stafford is not really in a good situation next year at the Rams. The Rams are washed up, and they don't have a lot of money. Ranked number 10? What? That list I just thought was absolutely abysmal.
You know,
I was just annoyed that Deshaun Watson was in the top 10, to be completely honest with you.
well, and
That's pretty bad too.
That's the thing, right? Like, there's just no consistency with this list whatsoever. Jalen's a better quarterback than Lamar. He's a better right now. He's a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. And if somebody wants to say, well, he's not a top 5 quarterback, well, that's fine. Let me see who's in your top 5, because there are plenty of good quarterbacks that he could have put up there, but he put Lamar Jackson up there, who hasn't had a 3,000-yard season in years, who, by the way, you know, in 2021, he played 12 games, and I think he had like 15 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, you know? So even if you want to go by, like, and that's my problem with the list, because if we're going to say, you know, oh, well, we're just basing it off what these quarterbacks did this year. Okay, so then how the hell do you have Deshaun Watson up there? How the hell do you have Matt Stafford? How the hell do you have even Daniel Jones, who had 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions? How do you have Aaron Rodgers, 5 guys over Dak Prescott? I don't see, like, because if the criteria is based off what they did this past season, then you can't have those guys over Dak. And you know, we already talked about, you know, Trevor Lawrence. How can you put him? How can you put him over Jalen? How can you put him over? And this might seem like a hot take, and I think that Trevor Lawrence, obviously his future is brighter, but I'm not putting Trevor Lawrence over Kirk Cousins right now. I need to see more from Trevor Lawrence.
I'm with it. I am 100% with it. I won't believe it until I see it. And I love Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson, but I'm not with it. Jack, what are you thinking?
Nah, I mean, you guys kind of covered it all, but like, I love the disrespect still that he's getting. I mean, that's what I love. He's a dog. He gets so much disrespect, and he proves the haters wrong all the time. So, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. Yeah, whatever, there's criteria, whatever it may be, having these other quarterbacks higher than him surprised me. But like, other than that, I just think the disrespect is great. I think it's gonna fuel my boy to have a great season this year.
Yeah, and that's my thing with Chris Sims, though. Like, there is, like, this list, there's no criteria. Like, he didn't build this list off any criteria. If he would have started out with saying, here's my criteria, this is why I have this quarterback ranked over that quarterback, because this, that, and the third, then I'd understand. But there's just no consistency with his list whatsoever. But the thing is, this is what Chris Sims does. I mean, you look at what this guy, you know, his mock draft that he released. I sent it to one of my friends. I'm like, this is the worst fucking mock draft I've seen all draft season. It was the worst mock draft I've seen. I think he had John Michael Schmitz going to us at 26. There were some other really, really bad picks that he had in there. It's just, this is what he does. His edge rushers. He ranked his edge rushers in the draft. He had Will Anderson ranked at 5. So, you know,
and is he doing this so that we are gonna talk about it like we are now? Do you think that's what
yeah, because he does hate Philly fans. You know, when you watch freaking the one video with me and KJ in it, his most feared fans, right away he goes right to Philadelphia. So, you know, there's some sort of a underlying bias that, you know, he has.
And also, just in general, any of these sportscasters, they have so much hate to Philadelphia as a whole. Like, it's just like us being a Philadelphia fan, we're going to get hate no matter what, because they know we're going to talk about it. They're going to piss us off, which they do all the time. So it's just like, you know, a thing to get the Philly fans heated, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I know somebody that is an analyst for ESPN, and he's a fan of the Eagles. I think my mom was a part of that. My mom taught his son. But in general, it does really seem like there is definitely negative.
Oh,
bias
for sure.
towards Philly.
It's always been because I've been an Eagles fan, and I've been a fan since I was 3 years old. So
Think about it like this, though. Think about it like this. At least, like, the media is giving the Eagles, like, a lot of respect. I go on ESPN, and there's 2 guys on First Take saying that the Cowboys aren't going to make the playoffs. I turn that channel so fucking fast. I can't, like, for some, like, this is the part of the offseason that sucks because people, they need ratings. So they just put out these lists and these just horrible takes. And it's just like, bro, I can't watch it, man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's just First Take in general. All the hosts are like that.
Yeah. You want to know what, though? I don't know if you guys plan on talking basketball at all throughout this episode, but man, JJ Redick is the best analyst
I love it.
in sports.
Yeah, for sure. Greatest. I think I really like what he says and how he always has good takes. But moving on.
That's all we got. So I want to thank Chris Cowboys Beat for jumping on with us tonight. I want to thank Connor for jumping on with us tonight. I want to thank Mark Farzetta for jumping on earlier with us. And of course, I want to thank Matt Fredkin for jumping on with us too. So if you guys don't, please write us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That would be a big help. Make sure you're following our Instagram at 302BIRDS to see all the sick graphics that Ash is making. Make sure to follow our TikTok. And before we wrap up, I do want to kick it to Jack to hit our trivia for the night. So
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dorden, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you, Fantasy Football Network, for that sponsorship. The question we had tonight was, bear with me. The Philadelphia Eagles franchise began their NFL membership with what team name? Again, the Philadelphia Eagles franchise began their NFL membership with what team name? A, Philadelphia Eagles, B, Philadelphia Steagles, C, Philadelphia Birds, D, Philadelphia Nationals. And the answer, which it's kind of like a trick question. I saw in the comments people were answering wrong, but the overall answer is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Philadelphia Eagles.
So weren't they the Steagles or were they the Steagles?
that was the 50s, right?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
It was between, I think,
It
after
was World War II, so the 40s.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I had a feeling it was the Philadelphia Eagles because I originally thought, Ash, it was the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets.
That's
like
what
I
they
said.
originally were. Yeah.
But the team was bought in 1933 is my guess, and I think that this is correct.
Well,
and
they
then
were
changed to the
before-
Philadelphia Eagles.
Before they were bought, they were the whatchamacallit, Frankfurt Yellow Jackets.
Yep.
And then when they joined the NFL, because they weren't part of the NFL at that time, then they were the Eagles.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's all we got for you guys. So stay tuned. Next week we should have a new intro. This week we also should have a new vlog dropping. I will be on vacation, so got a ton of stuff that I'll be playing for you guys, and got the new Finally Friday shirts. Link is in the bio to cop them as well. But Jack, I'll kick it to you to do what you do best. Even though he's not with us tonight, hopefully he'll be with us next week.
Yeah. I love this. I love he's back. I love that he's back on the team. But pray for him. He's flying to Florida right now. He got delayed 3 times. But without further ado, hey Zep, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that outro.
I'm on vacation, Dutch.